Hey everybody, Shay here for a channel update for August. This is going to be a quick one because I do have a headache and I was going to put this off again, but it's already a few days late and I wanted to just kind of get some thoughts out there. As you can see, there's some pretty consistent scheduling going on. Things are pretty ahead and they've been ahead for a while. The reason for that is because I've effectively been taking off anywhere from a week off to a week and a half off every month for 3 months from work. Mix of things. To a certain degree, it was the health of my dog coming out of winter. He was not doing very good. It was a game over sort of scenario. I didn't accept it. And so I just needed to take more time off to kind of focus on him. Of course, then COVID hit. There was a lockdown. What it allowed me to do is it just allowed me to put more of that focus on the health of my dog and trying to stabilize him, put him in the best position possible so that if I had to make a decision, it would have been done. He would have had the best life he could have had for those next 2 to 3 months. He did have some infections for the last, I would say, 2 years at this point. He's a pug, so he had an infection on his wrinkles, between the wrinkle of his nose and his eyes, and it was constantly pussy. I had to clean him with baby wipes every day. Like, I have to keep him clean. He was constantly infected. His ears were covered in, like, it looked like dried blood. At some point I thought they were like dead mites. I had no idea. 2 years plus of that ear infection, which was problematic. His nose would peel. It'd get very dry and it would kind of have these growths, and these growths would just peel off. It was also disgusting, but I had to keep an eye on that. And he started to lose strength in his hind legs, and that was mostly because of muscle atrophy, because he's blind and deaf. He sounds like he's in a miserable condition, but no, he's loving his life. He loves to eat. He loves to be by me. And for the most part, he was getting old. He turned 10 New Year's, and I just wanted to make sure that whatever downhill trajectory he was on, I was just going to be there. But I would say the big one, which was like the third time where I was like, okay, now's the moment. And that was 6 weeks ago or something like that. His stomach lining, there was something wrong with his stomach lining, and I thought, okay, now it's cancer. Now it's done. But I was able to put him on a probiotic and an antibiotic for 7 days, and then lo and behold, a week later, I was like, oh my god, I haven't cleaned his wrinkle for 5 days. I haven't cleaned his face, and I'm constantly petting him on the face, and normally I'll pet near the wrinkle, and there's like scabs and stuff like that, and so I can feel them, and I'm like, okay, I gotta clean his face, right? So it turns out that I never felt that, and that's where I was like, oh my god, I haven't cleaned his wrinkle. And then when I went and looked, it was completely dry. It's completely dry. And I looked at his nose, and I'm like, his nose it's wet. It's like dog wet. It's like happy dog wet. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I checked his ears, and I was like, oh my god, I think his ears are clearing up. So cleared out his ears for a week, 2 weeks. I just kind of worked on his ears, and now his ears feel like they're not perfect, but they feel like they're getting better. This is a dog where, for all intents and purposes, he should not be bouncing back. This is a dog that 3 years ago I was told he had 4 months to live when he got diabetes, and then he went blind within 24 hours, a month and a half later, and then he started going deaf 6 or 8 months later, something like that. And the vets have been completely surprised by the fact that somehow he keeps going. Well, 2 years ago I asked to work from home full time. My job gave it to me. They've been awesome about all of this. I stopped traveling. I stopped my renovations in the house. I moved into this house 5 years ago. I stopped rentals 3 years ago, and it's kind of like half of it is undone, and it just is what it is. I have no furniture upstairs anymore. I removed it all because of him, and all because it was just to get to the next season. And so it turns out the impossible that did happen, because they're like, it's near impossible to remove infections from a diabetic dog that's this deep in and stuff like that. And but I think it's like staying from home, focusing on him for the last 6 months has turned him around. It allowed me to get him back on a sleep schedule. He's very routine, thank God, because I'm very patternistic. But I was able to get him on a routine where I would know when he would fall asleep in the evenings, and I wouldn't have to worry about him having some blood levels problem, or he had this weird dry wet cough. His wet cough is gone. He snores. He sleeps in a floor below me. I don't hear him snoring anymore. He doesn't pace around in the morning, leave his room. He's just happy to leave when I get there. It's everything's completely changed. And so it allowed me to put him back on a schedule, know when I could game. Essentially, when he's napping, I come down here and I game for 2 or 3 hours. He's like a baby, to be honest, and I just find the time where I can find it, but it's regulated again. And so I feel like I was able to focus back on getting content out for the channel in a more regular pace. That's when all the scheduling happened. I took the extra time off of work so that I could get the backlog worked out for this channel, get back into action. But it all accelerated very quickly. I'll go into now the games. That's the intro. Sorry sorry for taking so long about that, but it was sort of a story that's kind of been carrying over on these channel updates for a while now, and I understand that, but the situation is what it is. It just is what it is. It doesn't matter. But so I've gotten back to the games with the time off from work, and Greedfall was something I really wanted to finish, and I did. I am very ahead in Greedfall. I have to edit a lot of the episodes, but I cleared it last weekend, and I'll talk about more of that stuff in the LP during the credits, of course, as I usually do for those of you watching it. But that's out of the way now. I've been focusing, turning my focus onto Knights of the Old Republic, the Sith Lords, and that one I was sort of already ahead on to a certain degree 2 weeks ago, which is what allowed me to focus on Greedfall for 2 weeks. But look, I'm not that far ahead of when this episode will drop, but I've taken this week off work again, which is why I'm able to sort of maintain this. I gotta slow down, man. I got a headache, but now I'm like lightheaded. But anyways, let's talk about what's coming next now. So if I can get, Greedfall is done. Borderlands, we finished Borderlands 2 weeks ago. We started the DLC this week, and it's going well. And then from there, I didn't do this update video because I was trying to figure out what I was going to update on, what other games might be coming. And obviously the ones that people are waiting for are BioShock Infinite, Witcher 3, and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Now Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is likely going to go in parallel with Witcher 3. Witcher 3 is sliding out as long as it needs to slide out. I really can't predict where Witcher 3 is going to fall. I want to get maybe some smaller games done before I kick off Witcher 3. BioShock Infinite is in there. I would maybe like to start that this month, so expect to see BioShock Infinite dropping on the channel. But beyond that, I want to do smaller games. I want to do things under 10 hours. I might be deep diving into all the Telltale games, to be honest. That would include the Tales from the Borderland, which would likely happen first because I'm in a Borderlands kind of craze right now. The Batman series, both of them, and there's The Walking Dead. I bought the Walking Dead collection, when was that? The Steam sale at the end of June. So Walking Dead collection is in there. So there's a lot of Telltale games I can turn to. There's things like, I might forget the full name of the game, but What Happened to Edith Finch, I believe is the name of the game. I heard this very short. It's a narrative sort of style game, kind of a sit down single session experience. So I'm hoping to do that one. Geez, what else? I tried to write a list. Maybe I'll try to find the list. Hold on. Okay, so a bunch of games I was considering because I can't plan anything and I don't want anyone anticipating anything in particular except maybe BioShock Infinite for August. Everything else is sort of, I'm pondering what to do. There's things like short games like Broken Age, The Flame and the Flood, Hollow Knight, a side scroller. I'm kind of into the jonesing for this side scroller experience. I had Hollow Knight. I think it's a big-ish game out there. I kind of see images of it in fan art, but I don't know anything about the game. So Hollow Knight is in there. The Last Day of June is another short one. I got The Lion Song, know nothing about that one. I got Never Alone, I've been wanting to play it. Ori and the Blind Forest, I got the definitive edition that I'm considering. Orwell, which will include Ignorance and Strength. I got Paper Bark. So many here. The Stillness of the Wind, the Turing Test. So there you go. So there's a bunch. And then, of course, What Remains of Edith Finch is almost definitely happening. So there you go. There's a massive list there. There's more. There's one secret game I'm not going to mention, which is almost definitely going to be a Let's Try. We'll see. It's probably going to drop this week. That's all you're going to get on that one. You'll find out soon enough. Just in case I don't do it, then I'm lying. The list I mentioned was about half of the games on the list that I've created a short list directory, which doesn't even include this other game that I might do a Let's Try on, just because I want to see what it's all about. It's a massive game. That's all I'll say. It was a massive download from Steam. That's all I'll say. That's it. I've said too much. A lot of things for people to anticipate. By the way, you can go to the About page on this channel and you will find a list of kind of my priority list. It's not perfect, and it kind of moves around every, I don't know, 2 to 4 weeks, but it'll give you a general sense of the stuff that's at the top of the list is likely the stuff that's getting highly considered to come up next. Talking about the channel, just passed 1 million views. It's a crazy milestone to get to 1 million views, and I'm looking forward to 2,500 subs. Was another kind of personal milestone I was hoping for that would happen this summer, and it looks like it could very potentially happen this month if things keep going the way they're going. So it's kind of exciting to kind of watch play out. Despite taking that time off, for some reason I was getting more subscribers when I took the 3 months off than when I'm releasing 1 to 2 videos a day. And at this point, the channel is basically 1 day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 month at a time. I'll keep you updated on these monthly updates as I find out more, especially now that the dog is, oh my god, he's been good for like the last 3 to 4 weeks, and it looks like he's perking up and he's yeah, it's a completely change of pace. I'm getting sleep. I didn't know how little I was sleeping until I realized he wasn't pacing around on his wooden floor, and he wasn't snoring and keeping me awake. I'm very light sleeper, even if I sleep a floor above him, but he snores that loud. But the fact that the first weekend where he was on the probiotic and the antibiotic and he was quiet, I actually panicked. I got up the first night, I'm like, oh my god, he's not up, did something happen to him? So I raced down, I was like, no, he's in his bed, he's fine. Like, oh geez, this medication is really working out. And then a week through that, I was like, man, I'm getting like 6 to 8 hours sleep again, this is crazy. So normally it's like 4 to 5 hours. Anyway, in any case, I'm going to wrap this up here, and hopefully I will catch you with a bunch of new games launching on the channel, smaller games, but they're likely gonna I'm gonna play them this week while I'm off work, so I don't get too far ahead into Coder 2. I want the audience to sort of keep up with me, just in case I'm mangling things or there's suggestions that I can take into consideration when playing Coder 2. I want to be able to do that, so I'm gonna try not to get more than 5 to 7 episodes ahead of people, which means I gotta play other smaller games and fill in some cracks, which is going to possibly be more overwhelming to me because I'm gonna have more things to edit, but I'm gonna deal with that problem later. Just know that things are busy in August. I'll catch you in the next active episodes. Don't forget to explore, engage, and inspire, everybody. Peace.